Hello, folks. Well, we just had an internet outage right at the moment that I was set to jump in and say good morning. I think I'm streaming from my mobile, so we're probably going to have terrible lag. We will wait and see. Um, it doesn't look like we are. We just have terrible internet today. Okay. Folks, let me see. We did have some comments. Here we go. So we'll get started because Stan jumped in on the question, uh, and there's good news. Good news in Kangaroo Island. Good morning to you, Stan. By the way, 2 mil of rain overnight. It is cacking down here at the moment, and I suspect that might be why the internet went out. We might have some water in a pit or something like that. Now, the question that I posed is what could be. I said three main reasons why your garden might suck, why wildlife might not like your garden. Stan's obviously read it round the wrong way. Big bushy plants, big trees, food plants. Well, I'm glad Stan twigged early. Oh, and no cats. Let's go through them all. Let's have a look. Did you say hate? Yes, I did. In that case, not enough big trees, not enough bushy plants, not enough food plants, and too many cats and a dog. Okay, well, you've got one of the angles I was going for. Let's see. Twig is Stan's dog. Bailed up a koala yesterday. I heard the growling and grunting from my desk. I called her inside and saw him waddling across. Yeah, that's no harm done, apparently. Yeah, well, hopefully, Stan. Hopefully, no harm done, and hopefully the the trauma of the contact hasn't done the koala any harm. That illustrates one of the points that I make often. That's the reason why, when you do have big trees, you want their canopies to be able to reach into each other so that an animal like a koala doesn't need to come down and be harassed by the dogs. Let's go over those two. And thanks, Stan. By the way, I don't know if you want me to announce that something, but if you want to stay anonymous, but yeah, thank you, much appreciated. Three reasons why your garden might suck. Well, you said cats and maybe a dog. Okay, having a cat and by extension maybe some other pets that uh, might harass your wildlife. That's certainly one of the three reasons. An unrestrained outdoor cat is probably it might not be the biggest reason why your garden particularly sucks, but it's going to be a big reason why your neighborhood sucks. Your cat might not do its damage in your garden. It might be doing it in the local streets and might be very well behaved at your place. But certainly having dogs that are exercising in a backyard all the time and a cat free roaming, definitely a reason why wildlife is going to find that your garden sucks. However, if you do have a cat that is contained, if you have a cat run, the wildlife work that out very quickly. So they know that they are safe. The, your other reasons about not having big trees, I would put those sort of in maybe reason number four. Um, I'm gonna. I might surprise you here. Um, I'm going to put your car as number 2. Would anyone like to have a guess why I'm going to say your car? And Stan, actually, you get a pass on this. Not your car. That might give you a clue. Good morning to Glenn if you're out there this morning. Do let us know if you're new to the stream. Where's everyone from this morning? Let's have a look. YouTube and Twitch. Good morning, Twitch. Certainly looks like saying bad things about Facebook, because I think the Facebook algorithm. I know they listen to everything you say, so I think Facebook has just decided to not give me any cookies anymore. So, yeah. So, Stan, would you like to have a guess why your car might be the second reason? So Stan has chipped in again. I have no cat. The neighbour's cats roam into my garden, which greatly upsets me. Gee, Stan, you're a better man than I. The neighbour's cat that did roam into our garden no longer does. It's worked out how unwelcome it is. So, yes. The koala also wanders the neighbourhood. Yeah, I mean, they have to. He climbs the fences. My Polestar is clean. Yeah, well, we'll say why I volunteer your car. And Stan's car is not the kind of car I'm talking about. The most popular cars in Australia, the biggest sellers, four-wheel drives, SUVs, things like the ridiculous Ford Rangers and all those things, are Hilux and what are they, Nissan Navaras and all that. And what I notice anecdotally is that people like to rev them and leave them idling at this time of the year as it's getting cool. Those things make so much noise. And if you're a person who just nicks off early in the morning and then comes home late at night or after work, you're probably not going to have that the issue I'm talking about. But it's the people who leave their cars idling or are in and out all day. I've got some neighbours who are in and out of here 15 or 20 times a day. That's going to drive wildlife crazy. But it's the people leaving their diesels, particularly, just idling, chug, 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 belching out smoke. Unless you've got a large garden, that's going to upset all the animals. And allied to the car issue is paving. Just the amount of paving that you've got. And added onto that is the design of the paving, the runoff, the fact that in summer it just gets really, really hot. And it offers nothing. It offers nothing at all. And more and more as people have got these big chonky cars, the area of paved surface on smaller and smaller blocks, or the percentage of the paved surface, is much higher. So I think before we even start to talk about vegetation, they're the three big problems. You got a cat that's roaming. You've got a huge amount of paving, and often paving that offers no way of your garden getting any um, any water infiltration, and then they're so bloody noisy and unfriendly. So if you've got two of those big gas guzzlers in your front yard is probably all paving. And if you're trying to put them in undercover, that will mean that the old carport that I was familiar with as a kid is probably 2 to 3 times the size that it used to be. So that makes your footprint much larger. Stan, I can't stand getting in or being near a fossil car anymore. Yeah, splutter, vibrate, and stink. Even going to a servo now, I can smell the volatiles really strong. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The other thing that I noticed too, being someone without a vehicle, is how many people, apart from having very loud vehicles that belch out volatiles, as Stan says, and the smoke, the smog, is people have just got no conception because of the sound shell that most of these cars have got nowadays. They got no conception uh, about how loud they are when they're pumping up their stereo. As so, noise pollution. Now, technically, that's not the car, but people are only blasting out that sound because they think the rest of the neighborhood doesn't hear it. But they open the door and it's like anyway, they are the reasons. So let's see. Yeah. So Stan, tell me what's going on apart from a koala in your neighborhood and the big news. Or the biggest news in Kangaroo Island, apart from the sausage dog being found, getting some rain. That's great. We got piles of it. It's really coming down here. So, so I guess that's going to be good news for gardeners everywhere, because it really has been fairly dry in this neck of the woods in Melbourne, in Wurundjeri country. Yeah, I just want people to tell me what's happening in their garden and tell me if they've got a problem. Do you disagree with my top three? Would you rank them differently? Would you throw something else in? The reason I haven't said anything about old trees or big trees or bushy shrubs is they're all things that you can add or fix. But if you've got a cat and you're not prepared to restrain it, or for instance, if you've got two big playful dogs running around your backyard, doesn't matter pretty much what you do. You might get magpies, currawongs, or ravens or something popping in at the odd times, but you're not going to get any little birds, and you're certainly not going to have things like lizards and frogs and whatnot in your garden. And that's the trade-off you make. A little bit like if you've got toddlers or kids, but they grow up and they also don't spend 14 hours a day out in the garden. But if you've got dogs and you've gone to work and you've put the dogs out in the backyard, and the only exercise that they're getting in that time is running around with each other, well, your garden's going to be a bit of a wasteland. But then you can train your dogs to be inside, or you can give them a run. But you can't do anything about your paving. And if your paving is there because of your vehicle, that's it. People love the Land Cruisers on Kangaroo Island and drive around downshifting to make exhaust noise. Yeah, the same as the muscle cars. I mean, around here it's the muscle cars and The angle bloom in the Gulf is still really having a big impact. Lots of dead sharks and rays. Yeah, that's certainly those kind of macro problems impact on everyone. Obviously, your sharks and rays aren't going to be an issue for your garden, Stan, but uh, but we don't seem to be making enough of a move. Uh, even a lot of the electric vehicles, the EVs that are being sold, are still really big around here. I can't believe how many um, really high end EVs are around here. And it's my. I always joke with the housemate. I mean, we live in Shitville, right? And the number of Porsche Cayennes and there's Maserati SUVs. I'd never seen one until yesterday, and then when I noticed it, I saw three in the one day, and they were different vehicles. Who's driving Maseratis around here? Unless you're unless you're into something dodgy, because I can tell you, uh, the the QCs and the high end architects and company directors of uh, they're not living over here, right? I can't imagine what they're coming here to visit for, uh, but they're around. They're around. So yeah, forgive me while I have a bit of a coffee. So I've had me little rant. So now it's open slather. Uh, Garden questions. I can tell you next week. Next week we're revisiting the color themes. I think I've mentioned to you I'm in the middle of assignments and pracs and whatnot for a course I'm doing, which means I just haven't had the amount of time during the week to prepare the way I would usually like to. So, but that's nearing an end, and this week I will prepare something. I'm thinking we'll go on a color theme again. But you can tell me if there's something you'd like me to chat about. Um, big news! Big news about mushrooms in Victoria. Uh, are you getting the fungi news? The trial of the century about the mushroom poisoning, and we had mycologists in on the evening news and the morning news and the midday news. We had a mycologist giving evidence in court, and we then had another forensic uh, chemist. I think he was, and they disagreeing with the kind of toxins in a beef Wellington. Never seen so much coverage of fungi in my life. Uh, anyway, anyway. All right, folks. So some open slather questions, comments. What's going on uh, in your garden? I don't have the bandwidth today. I think to just ramble on and on and on and on. The I'll need to consult my sort of notes. I'm I'm seeing the honey eaters starting to pair up and defend territories and whatnot already. I mean, it's only May. Um, I I thought it was a bit later last year, so I don't know uh, whether we're getting uh, whether we're having a shift in the territorial and courtship displays. Stan says, I've been following the Beef Wellington case. Good publicity for iNaturalists. I want to go and find the bioluminescent shrooms in our pine forest. Yeah, well, the easy way to find them is go for a walk in the evening. Uh, yeah, certainly a couple of bioluminescent types in Gippsland where I used to live in the pine forests around south of Rosedale and uh, near Stradbroke, and then out down towards Yarram. Uh, Occasionally, would find the glow in the dark fungi. Um, Certainly, it was fairly locally. I mean, I didn't live close to where the Beef Wellington poisoned mushroom uh, case was in Leongatha, or is. That was a fair way away, but we did get the same TV and the same radio, and uh, every year there was lots of conversations about being careful foraging for mushrooms. Uh, but it seems that the defence, the defence seems to have presented a fairly good case that the mushrooms were sourced, um, both dried mushrooms and then also fresh mushrooms from local vegetable vendors. I don't know, Stan. You're looking at it from a newspaper sort of editor's point of view. I'm feeling like she's got a good chance of walking away. What What do you think? I'm I'm only seeing a whole lot of evidence that is like, uh, no, I bought these mushrooms. Uh, the the beef Wellington was delicious. Um, she didn't seem to have got as sick as everyone else, sick and dead. Uh, but when they've uh, tested the leftovers, that the wrong mushrooms, or there don't seem to have been any of the wrong mushrooms in there. Yeah. Anyway, what's Stan going? We're back to birds, and honey eaters are very vocal at the moment. Yeah, it's the New Holland honey eaters here that are really um, getting into it. One minute I'm thinking they're letting me know if there's a hawk or mopoke around, but I go and have a look at just having internal disagreements. Yeah, there's a lot of chasing each other around and displaying, and obviously jostling at the edge of territories going on around here. But it is the New Holland honeyeaters, the yellow winged honeyeater, as I like to call it, that are being boisterous. The noisy miners are also being quite boisterous. The wattlebirds haven't really kicked into gear here yet, so I need to check my notes from the last couple of years about when I started to notice the honeyeaters getting busy, but not just around my place. In other places, like down the street, they're certainly up and going. The other thing I saw this week was uh, galahs spending a lot of time in really bushy, small trees, which I hadn't really noticed before. Generally, when I notice galahs going like into within the canopy uh, of a small tree, they're generally just going into perch. But they seem to be, maybe they were just young galahs playing, like sort of playing tag. But it was an unusual display. Um, I'm sort of more used to seeing them either perching out in the open, not really into the within the canopy of a small, fairly dense tree. Anyway, it's only anecdotal. I only saw it at one location. I haven't seen a lot of it. The other thing I did see this week that caught my eye was the Australian hobby or Little Falcon. I caught a look at a couple of those. It may well have been the same bird, but flying around again where I had seen them in years gone by. Haven't seen them. Didn't really notice them last year. Maybe it's nearly 2 years since I've seen them. So they may have sort of moved on and now they're back. Stan's disagreeing with me on the mushroom case. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if getting rid of it. Yeah, I don't know. So, and also probably the way it's being reported in. I mean, I'm imagining that in South Australia you're not getting the detailed and updates that we're getting all the time here in Victoria and in Melbourne. I'm well. I'll tell you. I'm not in the courtroom. Obviously, you don't hear all the evidence, but from what I mean, there no doubt the media is trying to say she's a killer. That's the angle they're all putting. But if I was sitting on the jury, from what I've seen, I'd be going, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that her story is not absolutely correct because uh, the fungi expert says that the death caps weren't in what was collected. Um, but there's no doubt that there was poison in there. I'm not I'm not saying that there weren't poison mushrooms. I'm not saying that at all. There obviously was poison in that meal. But I think there's a little bit of a doubt about, she bought some that were dehydrated mushrooms and she bought some that were fresh from somewhere. Um, yeah. Uh, and we do get told, Stan, you no doubt get told this. You got to be very careful when you're just out picking mushrooms. And I mean, I wouldn't buy mushrooms from anywhere that wasn't a mushroom coming from like a mushroom farm nowadays. Um, whereas not that many years ago, you could go to a greengrocer's and there would be, field picked local mushrooms, and there might still be people doing that. There might still be small vendors that are doing that. Uh, I certainly wouldn't purchase any and eat them. But mm, yeah, I don't even like buying dried mushrooms because I've got no faith in what it might be. So yeah, um, what's what will I tell you about what's coming up? There's no gardening going on here today because of the weather. Um, Glenn. I need to send you an email, don't I? If Glenn's here today, I hope I hope the weather. I hope the rain is landing where it's needed rather than where people have got more than enough already. Uh, Stan, is 2 mil all you're going to get, or is it still coming down on Kangaroo Island? Um, I'm just going to look at the weather map here, see how much rain we're tempted to, or we're slated to get. Well, the warnings have gone, so that's one thing. Um, Oh no, it's going to hang. Coming in from the south. Might be around for a while. I'm just having a look over at the Kangaroo Island region. Yeah, so unless there's more coming up from the south, I think you might be pretty much done, Stan. It looks like it's going up the Gulf and heading up to Ardrossan. Anyway, I'm sure everyone's extremely interested in our weather forecast. What does Stan say? Nope, unfortunately, it's all we're probably going to get. They reckon the season won't break here till June. Oh well, look at the good side. That's June's a lot closer now than it was a fortnight ago. So fingers crossed on that, Stan. Um, yeah. So well, if the rain's done, are you doing any gardening this weekend? Um, I was going to be sowing some seed and putting it in uh, under the mandarin tree, but no, I'm going to wait until we get another few clear days to get some more seed going. Um, yeah, um, I should note we've got there's a buy me a coffee logo up there. If you go to the birdemergency.com/coffee, uh, you could do like somebody did during the week and buy me a coffee or two. It's much appreciated because uh, good coffee's getting expensive. Mm. Um, so next week we're going to have a. I don't know what colour I'll pick for next week. Anyone got a? Um, I was thinking maybe mauve or purple, but I think we've already touched on that over the. I don't think I did that in habitat gardening, but I certainly did that in the bird emergency. I think talking mauve. Oh, I'm getting. What am I getting? So I'm just checking. Someone's flashed up a message on the Twitter. Oh no, it's not for me. It's for a group. Um, yeah. Uh, so apologies for the raggedy start this morning. Uh, looks like the internet's back and it's working well, and the lagging has finished. So that's great. Um, if you've got a colour that you would like me to focus on for plants that your birds and animals might love for your wildlife garden, let me know. So I'm just checking some of the messages I missed uh, while we were down. I've got on my list here to do some more ground covers. Stan, did you do anything about looking for the myoporums or the Eremophila ground covers? Boy, oh boy, there's some toxic crap on the internet these days. Um, Yes. All right, folks. I think that's it today. We're not getting any questions, so I won't waste your time just sitting around. I've got assignments to do for the rest of the weekend, so uh, I'll probably bob up on Monday doing uh, doing a rundown of the environment news. There's quite a bit of interesting environment news around that I've been bookmarking. We've got a new environment minister in Australia. I am uh, doing a bit of a deep dive into his background. So I'll let you know a bit about the Minister for the Environment, and we can speculate as to whether things are going to be better. Now, Stan, what's that? I've not had a chance to visit the nurseries yet, but we did run a story that the native plant nursery is now open with 9,000 plants. That's pretty great. Stan, when you're in there, see if they'd like to have a chit chat sometime. Talk about what they are doing and well, the struggle. Did anyone watch the Bunnings story on Four Corners? That was interesting. I did mean to talk about that. That was very interesting. We might do a bit of a watch along. Yeah, I've clipped a few really interesting things, but yeah, I just need the time to prepare properly. So yeah, this next week is going to be a bit radical, but I will pop up maybe on Monday next weekend. Habitat gardening. We'll get onto Stan. How about orange? Oh, thank you, Stan. Yeah, do buy me a coffee. I haven't been plugging and whatnot. I've really been. Well, I haven't just been. I've been distracted with the amount of coursework and stuff that I've had on, and some other things that have been going on. Obviously, the computer drama that has been around. So I haven't been consistent in it. But look, the buy me a coffee is. I really appreciate it when it pops up. I don't plug it nearly enough, but I think I am going to do some kind of crowdfunding or whatnot to. Uh, uh, I really need to make sure I can upgrade the computer. Then I can stop hacking things together, and I'm not streaming the way I used to. It's also not easy to do edits and clips anymore like it used to be. So it uh, makes everything annoying. Um, Orange. All right. Well, uh, let's uh, let's write orange down. Oh, don't know what I've done with all. Oh, there we are. There we are. Put me book on top of me pens. Okay, orange. Maybe I might make it orange and yellow. It's pretty difficult uh, to find enough readily available varieties with orange flowers. And apart from wattles with the yellow, they're just not that popular in sort of the wildlife friendly, wildlife attracting plants. They're far more. You'll find a lot more yellows and orange in all the herbaceous kind of uh, plants. The you know cottage gardens and the herbaceous borders, things like that. But in the Australian context, uh, they're not that great. But yes, Stan, thank you. You've given me a challenge. So Orange will be talking about orange wildlife friendly plants next week. I can think of a couple of uh, non-native plants that have some habitat value that have orange flowers. So we might break the mold a little bit, and yeah, so that's a good suggestion. Thanks, Stan. Oh, I did see something else that got me a bit riled up uh, during the week. I had noticed that the local park down near the supermarket, bordering the supermarket car park where I go a couple of times a week, there there's been some climbers. One of them is a New Zealand native, Muehlenbeckia complexa, and the other one, uh, I can't remember for the life of me what the botanical name is for it now. Um, but it is an indigenous Melbourne plant that was growing through the fence. And I noticed that they weren't thriving and that uh, they didn't seem to be putting on any new growth. Well, they're both now definitely dead. I just thought they were struggling. It hasn't been that much rain. They're struggling. No, they're both dead. And I saw the contractor who was spraying the weeds around the base of the uh, electrical poles and weeds in the footpaths. He's been spraying them. For what reason, could not, I just have no idea. I could not understand. But some people have just got this idea. Oh, there's plants growing in through the wire fence. We must kill them. Glenn, thank you for that. Good morning, Glenn. By the way, a few Banksias orange in colour. Yeah, definitely. Well, all the Ericifolia Banksias and their derivations like honeypots and um, whatnot are all orange. We've got Victoria and Burdettii with orange and white. So yeah, uh, we'll do some orange. There's also some magnificent orange grevilleas. They're just rarely available, uh, but we'll go over those. There's also some orange-ish correas. So yeah, and obviously eucalypts. There's some orange eucalypts, um, or corymbias. Beg your pardon. We're going to call them corymbias now. Yeah. So we'll talk about that a bit next week. Just trying to think what else, but I can think of quite a few non-native orange flowering plants that have some benefit. So yeah. Oh, Glenn's popped in on Facebook, so we've got Facebook joining us today too. So that's great. Um, and hello to the Twitch lurker or lurkers who never ever comment. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, gee, sorry about the start. I'm glad the internet came back on. It's very unusual for it to die right at the moment that I want to go live or that I wanted to come on camera, but it did. But we seem to be back. Um, Glenn, while you're there, I have been remiss. I haven't sent you an email. I will. That's on my list here next to my next bit of homework and orange yellow plants for next week. We'll do that. Uh, any good shrooms today, Glenn? Are you out taking mushroom pictures? Hopefully they're not death caps. Or actually, it doesn't matter if they're death caps as long as you don't put them in a beef Wellington, I guess. Um, have you had wall to wall coverage in the media up there? It's really died off here. Um, we were getting updates um, every sort of news bulletin, every hour there'd be an update. But I think it's 3 weeks into the trial now, so yeah. All right, folks. Glenn, Stan, thank you for participating. Orange, yellow plants next week. Um, I may have been out to a nursery, so I might have something more to talk. Where Glenn's not going anywhere. Still on birds today. We'll be on shrooms soon. Some good purple shrooms. Very good. Oh, so you're getting lots of mushroom coverage. So I must say I'm very, very interested to see where that will go. I don't know if you caught it earlier, Glenn. If I was a juror, I've got doubts. I've got doubts about whether it was deliberate. There's no doubt that there was poison in the meal. But yeah, I can think about. I've made beef Wellington twice, and I can tell you both times that I made it. The first time I made it, I don't reckon I ate any while it was hot. I think I had all. I think nearly everything that I had was cold the next day, because it's the kind of thing that you don't just make beef Wellington. You generally make a whole lot of fancy veg and a dessert and everything. You do it for a pretty slapdash meal. And I was spending all the time, doing hosty things, looking after everyone else and making sure everyone got their stuff nice and hot. And then by the time I sat down, everything was cold, or getting cold. And then you're clearing up plates. So, yeah, so 2 times that I've made beef Wellington, because it's a sort of it's an event meal, and it's such a bugger. It's such a bugger to make it look good, presentable, and also to to cook the beef well and right through. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know why anyone would bother making beef Wellington. Frankly, having made it twice, I've got no plans to ever make it again. So there we go. So for those of you who might have just popped in, we did talk a bit of gardening earlier on. I'm on the way out now, unless you've got a question or a comment about gardening. Stan made a really good point earlier about koalas. If you have koalas around, try and keep your dogs away from where the koalas might end up. We better revisit the 3 reasons why your garden sucks. All right. 1, if you've got a cat and it's unrestrained, that's number 1. Cats are always number 1 if they're unrestrained. They'll eat everything. You'll always think, oh, no, my cat doesn't. But they do. They eat everything. They're awful when they're out and about. Number 2 is your vehicle. And it's your vehicle for a number of reasons. 1 is, well, your vehicle is the 2 reasons. 1, that it's big, noisy, loud, and the way people use them and drive them and idle them and drive in and out all day. This isn't everyone, but several people will just be driving in and out all day, blaring music, Now, I've been guilty of that in the past. That's probably reason number 3, the way people use their vehicles and the kind of vehicle that they have. But the second one is the bloody paving that's associated with your vehicle. The amount of paving, the size of the driveways, the size of the parking areas, the size of the carport, the percentage of paving associated with vehicles is increasing per dwelling. That obviously means that there's less vegetation, and it changes the kind of vegetation that will be grown. Nobody wants to plant trees because it might mess up the paving. So there's my 3 reasons. Agree or disagree? I'm almost to the point where there just shouldn't be any cats outside. Uncontained. Just shouldn't be. That's my view. Just waiting for a spark of inspiration to see if there's anything else I want to share today. I don't think there is. Glenn, I'll try and email you later today. And yes, tell you what I meant to tell you. I think it's 2 weeks ago I meant to tell you something. Stan, thank you for. Should I put my Buy Me a Coffee link up? Have I even got that? Here we are. Is it up? Oh, it's going along the bottom. Yes. So yes, buy me the birdemergency.com/coffee. And if you don't want to use Buy Me a Coffee, which is how you can support the show, or like maybe encourage me to go out and buy another gardening book, or help me buy some more vermiculite for the next lot of plants that are being bought, being produced. You can do that. But you can donate to me on PayPal, and that's the birdemergency.com/PayPal. But if you do donate on PayPal, please tell me hello and who you are, because I do sometimes get payments on PayPal and I've got no idea what they're for, or whatever. If it's someone reimbursing me for something that I've lent them over the years, or so yeah, that would be much appreciated. What have we got here? Glenn's got. Oh no, that's. Here we go. Birdsong Banksia cutting was what you were emailing about. Yes, I was, Glenn. I was going to. I did remember what it was about. I just didn't remember to sit down and write the email. So thank you. I just wanted to give you a bit of a heads up about a good way to ensure that they travel well, and we don't need to do all the details here. So I'll just pop that in an email to you later today. Well, yeah, later today, maybe after lunch break. Okay, folks. Glenn, Stan, thank you for your comments. If you've just popped in, or if you're catching this later on, Habitat Gardening, we are going to, we try and be a forum where you can ask a question, make a comment, tell me about your Habitat garden. Oh, Charlie, are you here? Let me see. I think you might be. Hello, Charlie. I just saw you like something on the Facebook. So good morning. Charlie, if you've got a question or a comment, we can hang around. I'm not in any rush to go. I just don't want to be waffling on. Thank you, Stan. Do remember too, Stan Kangaroo Island TV on the YouTube. Morning, Charlie. What's going on in your part of the world today? Stan, yes, let's all have a great weekend. Charlie, have you got rain happening at your place this morning? It does look. I was looking at the map. It looks like it's fairly localized. What's the topic? Charlie says. Well, what we did, it was 3 reasons why your garden might be crap. 3 reasons why your garden sucks. 3 reasons why wildlife might hate your garden. Do you want to have a guess at the 3? We've covered it, but I'm happy to go back over it because I think one of them is pretty obvious. Stan nailed one of them, and 2 of the reasons are kind of allied. But yeah, let's see, Charlie. 3 reasons why your wildlife garden might suck. Well, 3 reasons why the wildlife around you hate your garden. I had to make some kind of clickbaity topic. I'm sure you've got an idea, Charlie. All right, Charlie's taken a different tack. Too many introduced species of plant, too much lawn. Oh, no. No, although I would put them in the top 10. I wouldn't put them in my top 3, but I would put those in my top 10. Lawn, I've got to say, lawn comes pretty close. Let's drop that out. Okay. First is a cat. Unrestrained cat. Doesn't matter how many beautiful local plants, the planting you put in with your nest boxes, the lovely water feature, whatever you've done, if you've got an unrestrained cat, you're not going to have frogs, lizards, little birds, big birds, nests. So that's number one. Oh, Charlie's got another one in here. No water. No, Charlie, I wanted to bring it down to the very first principles when we talk about people living in their house, living in their garden. And I think it's even before we even start to plant a plant, do anything. First is the cat. Stan mentioned maybe dogs as well. Dog. Stan's dog was getting acquainted with a koala. Yeah, dogs as well, but dogs are sort of an incidental problem usually. They're running around doing their dog things, and that can annoy other animals. So yeah, cat / other pets. But dogs you can bring inside. Same with kids, if you've got little kids. But the thing, the main thing in their allied is the amount of paving that we now have. Blocks are getting smaller. Like even people who had a big block are subdividing down there, selling off a bit of it. So then the one driveway then becomes 2, or people don't want to back out anymore, so they put a turning circle in. just the amount of paving that that reduces the opportunity to have vegetation in your uh, in your garden. And the reason we got so much paving is because we got these bloody huge cars. SUVs are the most popular uh, category of vehicles, certainly in Australia and pretty much in similar uh, uh, similar countries. And they're noisy, they're big, and around here, what's got my goat, apart from the amount of paving that it requires, even if you're not paving, even if you don't pave, you still have these big areas where you're parking cars, and usually if you've got one of those big things, you've got a trailer or something else as well. So just the amount of space taken up that's dedicated to a vehicle is becoming more and more. But then it's the way people use their bloody vehicles. Too loud, idling. Now that the mornings are becoming cool here, early in the morning, people are idling so much and then driving in and out to go to the shops 20 times a day. Your bloody vehicle is, people don't even think about how unfriendly they are to wildlife. It's only those very, very familiar birds and animals that won't be disturbed by the use of your vehicle. Come and go for go come leave for work in the morning, come home in the evening. That pattern is not very uh, disturbing. But it's the ones driving in and out all day and idling their vehicles and playing the music so loud. And we've all done it. But now we're all so much closer together that the level of disturbance of doing something that wasn't disturbing years ago, or as disturbing, it was still disturbing. Now it's much, much more disturbing. And I think as people, we've adapted to it to the point where we kind of don't notice it. But they're my top three. That's before we've got to talk even about any plant or water. Obviously, water is right up there. But I got to thinking about how really simple first principle things we're getting wrong, and we're really unfriendly to wildlife. Cats, big cars, big vehicles, and then the things that go along with having a big vehicle, which is just taking up so much space. And the corollary to that is water runoff, just, but it's mostly just taking up the space. So that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. Charlie's just told us to. Yeah, cats are very bad. There's a fantastic post on Facebook by the Wildlife Rescuer. Well, you can look for that one. My hope is that so many of the local councils will make it very, very difficult to uh, to have cats. Charlie says, I was agree on vehicles, but I was surprised by how many birds were at Winton Raceway. It was astonishing to see striated pardalotes, grey crowned babblers, and of course red rumps and many, many more there. Okay, now, well, let me just before I make the statement, I'm just going to check something about Winton Raceway. I know it. I've been there. Okay. Oh, Okay, so for those of you that don't know, it is 2 hours from Melbourne, an hour from Albury, 15 minutes from Benalla. Um, Most people would know about Winton Raceway just because there's a sign off the highway pointing to it. Uh, Now, if I go to their calendar, it's a pretty big site. Gee, they've got the New South Wales Motor Racing Championship at Winton. That's interesting. Uh, so I'm just looking at the. So pretty much they're busy on weekends. Just having a look at May. Let's have a look at June. Yeah. Yeah, just having a look. So it looks like pretty. Uh, yeah. So the main thing I would say about Winton Raceway is that it's a big spot. There's uh, it's like the well, it's like golf courses as well. It's like the horse racing tracks. Um, so I was just having a look at their calendar. Uh, it looks like just about every week, apart from the odd thing, there is the odd test day, but Wednesday and Thursday there's pretty much no events, and there's not a lot happening on most Mondays, and then they have a school and testings on on Tuesday, and then nearly all of their events are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where you can expect big crowds and high volume traffic. But still, it's fringed by. I'm just having a look at the map there. I think there's only a few spots that you would see quite a lot of birds, and yeah, your pardalotes is certainly going to see them, and the babblers, the red rumps, are going to be in the areas that fringe the adjoining properties. So I'm not surprised by Winton. It's the same as in certain golf courses and whatnot, where you see birds that are quite adaptable, but then you think about grey crowned babblers, they're pretty adaptable. Red rumps certainly are. Striated pardalotes, yeah. I'd I'd be impressed if you were seeing rufous whistlers and golden whistlers and uh, some more of the honey eaters, apart from the old favourites. I mean, are the maybe you're seeing white naped honey eaters or brown headed honey eaters, or um, you know, in those sites. I could probably look at eBird and let's see. I'll just see if people have been doing eBirds at Winton and see if there is anything interesting there. Bear with us, folks, while I'm looking around on the internet. Let's search good old eBird. eBird looks like it's had a little bit of a. It has had a little bit of a. It's had a bit of a refresh. That's nice to see. No, we're not getting Winton Raceway on as a. But we do have Winton in Snowy Lane. So is that? Winton Wetlands. There we go. That's where everyone sort of goes to. Yeah, Winton Wetlands is the hot spot, and the raceway is down there. Now here we go. Doesn't look like anyone's done a survey there, but someone has done a survey. Winton one checklist. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay. Well, there's not much in 34 species in Winton. There's just not many people doing much in Winton. I'm just having a look now. Australasian grebe, collared sparrowhawk, sacred kingfisher, white-plumed honeyeater, striated pardalote, willy wagtail. It's your stock standards, apart from the little eagle and the black falcon. But that was in 2014. Since 2010, there's been 34 species there at Winton. I'm just going to see if there's another one. I'll go to the wetlands and see if there's anything different in the wetlands. Come on. Winton wetlands. Here we go. Winton North, Lake McCowan. All right, they're all going to be the same spot. Winton wetlands. I think that's the one we want. $127 species. 156 on that one. Let's go to that. And what have we got over here? Let's have a look at the one. View the details. New species in 2025 in May: eastern rosella, spotted pardalote, grey butcherbird, whistling kite, and the galah. Let's have a look at 2020 this year for the woodland walk. Red-browed finch, flame robin, restless flycatcher, great cormorant. 65 species this year. Superb fairy wren, spotted pardalote, flame robin, golden-headed cisticola, red-browed finch, kookaburras, striated pardalote, restless flycatcher, king parrot. Yeah, that was April this year. Common bronzewing, crested pigeon, swamp harrier, wedge-tailed eagle, black-shouldered kite, weebill, tree martin, black kite, brown falcon, white-fronted chat. Yeah, that's a good one. Only one, January 2025. Little grass bird. So Paul Rowan, he's a good one. Black chin honey eater, January. Yeah. All years. I'll just have a look at the all years. Now, Charlie, you said you got your birds mixed up. Did you get your pardalotes mixed up? Because they're both there. They've both been recorded there. 156 in all years. I'm going to look for anything exceptional. The Australian hobby this year. Black-fronted dotterel. That was February this year. Reed warbler, February. White-plumed honeyeater. Red-kneed dotterel. That one. Musk lorikeet. Where was the red-kneed? Black-chinned honeyeater in January. Only one. Musk lorikeets, December 2024. Brown quail, buff banded rail. Australian shell duck, November 2024. BirdLife Murray Goulburn. Pick that one up. Hoary headed grebe, 2024. Cockatiel, November 2024. Two of them. I'm just looking for things that would. Turquoise parrot, 10 of them, 2024, October. That's a good get. Spotless crake and Balin's crake, plumed egret. Obviously, you're a fairly good observer if you're confident picking all of them. Little Firebird, I'd expect to see that. October 2024. Mistletoe bird, olive-backed oriole, 2024. I think that's a good one. Hardhead, good get, 2024. Little eagle, musk duck, 2024, April. Spotted harrier, good get, 2024. Golden whistler, rufous whistler, one each, 2024. Eastern shrike tit, again, a bird that used to be so common, and now I'm seeing that notable when I see it on a list now. Black falcon, 2023. Pink-eared duck, 2023. You have to go back to 2022 for a tree creeper. White-throated tree creeper. Rufous songlark, 2022. Western Girigany, 2020. Yellow-faced honeyeater, 2019. Greenfinch, 2019. Little lorikeet, 2017. Collared sparrowhawk, 2015. Oh, Tony Bischoff. Well done, Tony. Brown-headed honeyeater. Now, that was what the kind of bird I would expect. That's 2015. Red-cap plover, 2014. White-throated needletail, the spine-tailed swift, 2014. Double-banded plover, 2013. Red-cap robin, 2012. Eastern spinebill, 2012. So I guess Charlie says you're surprised you didn't get moderated by the king parrot. Oh, the king parrot is certainly is up around that area. My white plumed and my note, I saw them both at the raceway as well as golden whistlers. Well, Charlie, you should be doing your eBird in there because golden whistler and Rufus Whistler, I think they're a good get. Yeah. Anyway, there we are, folks. We've I should have been sharing that screen, but red-cap robin at the wetlands 2025. Very good. Excellent. I think the red-cap robin is a good get. Yeah. Excellent. So I think sometimes I mean I'm not familiar enough with Winton. But sometimes as other activities are happening in the area, as clearing and development is happening on other rural properties, a lot of birds move into somewhere where the expansion isn't happening, and they can adapt to irregular noise. It's the regular disturbance. It's the day on day, everyday disturbance that just makes birds move on. So that's great. Appreciate you popping in, Charlie. So there we go. We always find something to talk about, don't we? I started wrapping up about 45 minutes ago, but I am wrapping up now. Thanks for popping in. I'm Grant. I'm a horticulturist. I'm a bird nerd. This has been Habitat Gardening on the Bird Emergency. Do make sure, if you're not following on YouTube, do make an effort. Pop over to YouTube. This is a good comment, yeah. Met a birder there that almost peed himself when I saw a red-cap robin. Yeah, well, if you're there at the right time of year, I mean, remember these birds move around. Yeah, you have to be in the right spot, and you were, so that's good. Winton. There's a lot of places like the reservoir up there is a great space. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Stan. Thanks, Glenn. Everyone else who's been involved. I suppose we should say, eBird, use it. Great resource. And if you've got the means, take some photos of what you're seeing, especially if you see something like a king parrot where you don't expect to see it, or a spotted harrier or a red-cap robin. If you're on wherever you are in the world, use eBird. The data does get used. People look it up and check it up, and it gets drawn into other databases, and it really helps. Citizen science is something that will be used by scientists. So, yeah, do it. All right, folks. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. See you next week. Orange and orangey coloured flowers we'll be talking about with Habitat Gardening. And on the Bird Emergency, I'm going to have a look at the new Environment Minister for Australia. What does the appointment of Murray Watt mean for conservation? Thebirdemergency.com/YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. Birdemergency.com. See ya.